Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool talk is going to be my top 5, probably top 6 as a matter of fact, Klein tool screwdrivers. As you can see here, I've got a lot of them, and this probably isn't even all of them. I'm sure if I went scrounging around in my garage here, along with my kitchen drawers and inside my house somewhere, there's probably some 11-in-1s laying around all over the place. But Klein Tools is by far probably I have the most screwdrivers from them of any other brand, and that's because I've been using Klein Tools since I started doing the kind of work that I do. So however many years ago that's been, maybe 25 years or so. And again, I've lost some over the way, and I've gave some away and different things like that. But these are all the ones I currently have right now. So I thought I'd go ahead and do a top 5. It's probably going to be top 6 video because there's one of them that I just can't leave out because of the function of it, but it's probably not going to be the go-to for a lot of people. So I thought I'd go ahead and go over these, and maybe someday I'll do other brands, or maybe I'll just do a top 5 my total screwdrivers altogether, because again, I have so many Klein screwdrivers because I've been using them for so long. But here lately, with the way that the world is, with being able to ship things over the ocean easier and all the kinds of things like that, there's been a lot more brands introduced to me through YouTube and other people's videos and things that, there's other tools now that I use that I would have probably never been able to even know of before. But Klein Tools still has a place in my heart for their screwdrivers, and they also have very good products still, especially in the multi-bit screwdriver functions, in my opinion anyway. So I thought, again, I'd go ahead and go over these. And again, to me, just to start this off, has to be a screwdriver, so that means it needs to put in a screw. So top 5 screwdrivers, top 6, it needs to be able to put in a screw. So that's going to knock out a few things. So something like this pass-through set that I just did a review for. It's a newer tool. There's the 32809 MAG, pass-through, magnetic, multiple sizes in that. But this is a nut driver, so to me it's not a screwdriver, but it's very functional, very useful, a good space saver in your tool bag. So this is a really good tool. It would probably be in my overall top 5 at the moment, maybe, but I'm not going to include things like this. And another one would be, so that if you are just curious why I don't have certain things in here, this to me is a really good Klein screwdriver handle, but it comes with this hollow nut driver set on Amazon that you can pick up. So this is, again, a nut driver, not a screwdriver, but this handle is a ratcheting multi-handle that takes any 1/4 inch, so you could easily take and make yourself any kind of a ratcheting screwdriver with any kind of bit holder or whatever you have. So this is a really good handle to have from Klein, but whenever you go buy it in its purest form, you're buying it with a nut driver set. That's what comes with it, so I'm not going to include that as well. And then another thing that you're going to notice before we get into this is there's not a lot of ratcheting screwdrivers. Matter of fact, I'm not sure that there's any, other than maybe one as an option in my top 5. And again, I've mentioned this 1,000 times on the channel before. I'm just not a ratcheting screwdriver person, and it's mainly because I've been using screwdrivers for so long that are non-ratcheting that even if I take this and I've got this, 9 times out of 10 I forget that I can even use it as a ratcheting, because I've got so much muscle memory of just using my wrist. I understand the features of one and why it's useful and all those things. It's just I just don't tend to gravitate to them because I forget to even use them if I've got them in my hand. But that doesn't mean they're not a good option for a lot of people, and it's probably would even be helpful to me. I just don't think about using them that often. So that's why you won't probably see any of those in my top list either. But that's the introduction. Let's go ahead and jump into what are my top 5/6 Klein screwdrivers. So coming in at number 6, and the reason why I'm including this one is because it needs to be in a top, because to me this handle is phenomenal, but you can't get as much done with this because it's really only just a screwdriver. But this is the 32619. It's their adjustable link screwdriver. I've got a review video for this one that'll go in more detail about things, so I'm not going to hit a lot of things with this. But essentially you can get an extremely long screwdriver, or you can adjust it down and go to a smaller screwdriver in length. But the reason why this one to me is better than some other adjustable ones that Klein's offers is because the blades that come with it are super nice. You can only get a few of those, but that doesn't really matter to me with this. These aren't the reason why this is such a great handle, because the 14-in-1 adjustable, you might say, well, I'm going to get some bit storage and I'm going to get some adjustability on the shaft because I can take this shaft and go in and out. But as you can see, there's not really a place for me to lock this one in. except for right there at the end. So this one isn't adjustable with anything that you might want to use with it. So I can take this shaft right here. This is a Bosch shaft, I think, if I remember right. And I can take and stop this shaft anywhere I want to. It's going to stop and lock in whatever length that I want to make it, because it doesn't rely on certain things. Like this 14-in-1 adjustable, you have to use a shaft like the Klein or whatever it might be that has these little notches and grooves, and those are your stopping points. But even with that, you're only adjustable at those stopping points. So it's not really as fully adjustable as what this handle is here, because I can stop anywhere in between as long as I have a shaft that has this kind of a hex, all the little grooves. It can't be a round shaft, you know, like a Malco or something like that. But this one's way more adjustable, and you can also just stick anything in there that you want to. So I can take and make it a right angle screwdriver if I want to. Of course, you can do this with any of the other screwdrivers as well, or a conduit reamer. So it saves you from buying, you know, perhaps like a lot of other screwdrivers, because Klein sells something just like this. But the main thing, again, and why I wanted to include this, because I keep these in my truck all the time for this specific reason, is I can make whatever length screwdriver in between. I mean, I can move it by just a fraction and it locks that shaft into place. So that's why the 32619 comes in at number 6. So coming in at number 5 is the magnetic 11-in-1. Part number on this is 32500 MAG. So again, I'll put links for all these things in the description. And the reason why it comes in is because you can't have a top 5 Klein screwdriver video, in my opinion, and not have an 11-in-1 in the mix. You know, you have their older 11-in-1s here. This is probably one of my older ones. These are the screwdrivers that we've all been using for years, whether it's the Klein brand or somebody else's. But this is something that we've all had in our back pockets, in our service bags, in our kitchen drawers, whatever it is. It's a really versatile screwdriver, especially for like a house, just to do general work in. You go grab this out of the kitchen drawer, it's going to get the work done. And the only reason why the magnetic 11-in-1 comes into play to me in the top 5 over this regular one is because the size difference is very negligible. It's not a lot of difference between the two. And you're going to get that little bit of magnetism. So I can pick up screws with it. You know, you can't do that with your regular 11-in-1. And is it super magnetic? No, it's kind of actually a little bit disappointing in the fact that you're buying a magnetic 11-in-1. You might would expect it to do more, but really it's not that the bits are magnetic. There's a little, you know, the sleeve is basically a little bit magnetic. So it's magnetizing your bit in a little bit of ways, but again, it will at least let you pick up screws. It's definitely going to hold on to the screw better than an 11-in-1, but it's still not going to just hold on to it like crazy. But that little bit amount that it does do, to me, it puts it above your regular version, but just don't expect it to be super magnetic. But that's the magnetic 11-in-1 coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the 20-in-1 adjustable impact. And again, it's basically the super screwdriver, the one that, you know, I started this channel talking about the 7-in-1 flip socket. That was my very first video. And then we created basically this 20-in-1 adjustable impact by taking that flip socket, putting it into the 14-in-1 adjustable. So it's essentially the same screwdriver as that, and they just kind of made it into one package. And the reason why that it comes in at number 4 is because it is very versatile. Again, but it's a big screwdriver. That's why it's not moving up the list, in my opinion. I say all the time in comments, this is definitely not I'm just going to carry this around with me all day and use it. For one, it's bulky up here. It's a big screwdriver, but I will take this and throw it into whatever, my pouch or my pocket, and crawl into crawl spaces and attics, so that I don't have to take a lot of tools with me that I got to worry about losing and all those kinds of things. So you get the bit holding right here. Now over time, and again, the reason why this won't move up for me is because, like, this is my 14-in-1 adjustable. You can see that my cap has eventually come off because it got so tight that whenever I pull on it, it would break. This is tight right now. I haven't had this issue with any of my newer ones, but I had this one and I used this one for a really long time. So just know that longevity-wise, you might get a year or so out of this and start having problems. You might get 2 or 3 years and not have a problem whatsoever. but that's why this one's also not moving up into the top tier of my Klein Tools screwdrivers, but it is a very versatile screwdriver, and you also get that adjustable length, like what I talked about with the 32619, in that you can take off those nut drivers, the bigger ones, and move this down and make it a smaller screwdriver if you want to. And then maybe you want to carry these around with you in a separate way so that it's not such a bulky screwdriver. So you can kind of play with it, adjust it, make it any kind of screwdriver you want to. So the 20-in-1 adjustable impact, that's a very useful screwdriver, and that's why it's coming in at number 4. So coming in at number 3 to me, and this is actually a fairly new tool to me, so that just shows you how much I can already tell that I'm going to like it, is the 27-in-1 precision screwdriver. It's their tamper type here, and it basically is a precision screwdriver. You have bit storage in this as well, so you get a lot of bits within one screwdriver. So again, think about kitchen drawer, service tool bag, space-saving screwdriver. But the reason why I like it more than anything is because the size of it. This is your typical precision style screwdriver. This is the 32581. It's their 4-in-1, and you can see the handle size. You know, just to have that in my hand, this is more of a screwdriver that you're just using for very small precision stuff, which makes this very useful in that application. But there's a lot of times where I just have a small screw, but I've got plenty of room to work on it and all those kinds of things. This feels more like a screwdriver in my hand. I can still use it in that way, but I can also get a little bit more torque on it than what I can obviously with something like this. And you get longer length and a little bit of all those things. So compared to all their other precision screwdrivers, I also have the insulated, but the reason why I don't care so much for the insulated is because I have to keep up with these blades. You know, if the blade storage was inside of this insulated screwdriver, if somehow or other I was able to keep all my bits inside the one screwdriver, maybe they'll come out with an insulated version of this. I think that would be pretty nice. But I don't like having to keep up with extra stuff like this in my tool bags and things like that. So that's why this one doesn't make it, and that's the same reason behind this precision screwdriver, the 32717. I don't really want to keep up with this case and all those things for a tool bag purpose. Now this one would work well in your kitchen drawer or toolbox or whatever it might be, but that's why to me the 27-in-1, even though again it's a newer tool to me, it's already moved up to number 3 because of the size, the amount of bit storage that you have. It's also a little bit magnetic, super nice, so that's why it's made it up to number 3. Coming in at number 2 is the 12-in-1 adjustable stubby, and again this is very much like the 20-in-1 versus the 14-in-1. We could create this by using that 8-in-1 stubby. This is kind of the adjustable stubby that come out. You had this bit holder right here, adjustable length shaft, and a little bit you can make it a little longer, but you can also take that out and take a flip socket, you know, shaft with the flip sockets and create your own. Even though it's going to say 8-in-1, you can create your own 12-in-1 adjustable stubby out of those if you already have those. But the reason why I like this one, kind of the same reason as the 20-in-1. You're going to get that bit storage, although these bits are a little shorter, so you can't really replace these as easy with something else. But you can also take those bits, put them in your 1/4 inch, so that makes it a screwdriver. That's why this is different than the nut drivers I spoke about at the beginning, because I can still drive a screw with this, but you also can make a longer screwdriver. You can make a shorter screwdriver. You can take this one off and kind of make that even a little bit more compact. Not necessarily with this shaft, but you can if you have this shorter shaft right here. I can go even farther down with the stubby and get it even shorter if I want to. So super versatile. And again, the main reason why I kind of picked this one over the 21 and one and over the 14-in-1 and all those things is because to me, this handle right here, it makes it more of a compact, smaller screwdriver versus being such a big thing. Because I could still take and put the flip socket inside of this, and whenever you compare that to the 20-in-1 adjustable, you know, it's just such a smaller screwdriver. And I really like this because it reminds me of my favorite screwdriver pretty much right now at this very moment, and I've said that lots of times, is the Vessel ball handle. So I've got this ball handle. I just love the torque that I can get with that. I really like using it like this. Well, this makes this kind of a Klein ball handle, even though it's not exactly a ball, but it's very much like it. And I can still get my grip up here on this kind of plastic knurling. So it's very much to me like using a vessel. So I've actually started using this more as my super screwdriver than actually using something like the 20-in-1 adjustable impact. So the 12-in-1 adjustable stubby has become kind of my go-to Klein screwdriver in my bag, because again, I can also even take this out. Same thing as I mentioned on some of the other things. I can take and use a right angle adapter if I want to, put that in there. I've got a right angle screwdriver that I can use, the conduit reamer, all those things. You might not be able to get quite as much torque with this smaller handle to ream out some conduit, but you can use it for that. So you get very much a lot of versatility, being able to put kind of any 1/4-inch thing that you want into the shaft or into the handle of that. But you can also, again, create yourself a super screwdriver, put a bit holder in it if you want to. Just overall, I like the stubby because it's more like a ball handle, but I'm getting all the features of the Klein screwdrivers and all the accessories and things that I can build into it. That's why, to me, the 12-in-1 adjustable stubby, or again, if you've already owned the 8-in-1 adjustable stubby, you can create the same thing. A lot of bang for your buck. I really like them, and that's why they're my number 2 Klein screwdriver. And coming in at number 1 is the Impact 11-in-1. This one's 32500 HD's the part number on this. By far my favorite 11-in-1 screwdriver of all time, I think, and I've used a lot of them. And I'm talking about any brand. It doesn't really matter to me because of what you can do with this. So unlike the magnetic 11-in-1, it's not magnetic. That's the one downside to it. Another thing that I will say is they also offer a 11-in-1 ratcheting impact now that has this ratcheting feature on it. And so if you like ratcheting screwdrivers, you can get either one of these, and both of these would be my top one no matter which way you want to go about it. Now, the one thing about this one is it does work with their new Connect stuff that comes out as far as pass-through sockets and all those things. So you would want to look at getting one of these if you're thinking about buying some of those in the future. But the main reason why this 11-in-1 stands out above the rest to me is because obviously you get the same 11-in-1 features, and that you get your nut driver sizes, you know, your 1/4-inch, your 3/8, 5/16. You get your double-sided bits that you can use. But the fact that these are impact rated, I can now take this out right here, this 5/16. I can stick that into my impact. I can use these in a pinch if I need to. I'm not saying that it would be my everyday, you know, I'm going to always use these, because I wouldn't want to tear up these bits all the time. I mostly would want to use it as a screwdriver. But in a pinch scenario, I can throw this into my impact and use it like that if I want to. And then another thing is, you get this one piece right here that allows you to put any bit you want to into it. So with the regular 11-in-1s, you're stuck with whatever double-sided bits that you get. They're also harder to replace, and then you don't have an option sometimes with a double bit to get the bit that you really want. So if I want to run something like the combo bit or this ECX bit from Milwaukee, I can now take and put that in there. So it gives me at least one slot where I can put any bit that I want to. So that makes it more versatile in my opinion. And then another thing is, I said you lose the magnetism side of things, but you can also, because this takes any 1/4-inch attachment, you could put a magnetic, this is part of that 8-in-1 adjustable stubby. I can now click that down in there, have a magnetic bit driver on this side, still have a 3/8 nut driver, 1/4-inch nut driver, and another bit, and create my own flippable screwdriver by putting that down in the handle. It just has to be something that's the right diameter and the right length. You can't put anything down in there, but you can put a lot of things. And then again, you got yourself a flippable screwdriver where now I have a magnetic nut driver if I want one. You can even take out that and say, again, I'm losing my 5/16, but that's not a magnetic 5/16. I can take a 1/4-inch and 5/16 magnetic Malco, stick it in that side of that Klein screwdriver, and now I've created my own double-sided screwdriver with whatever bit I want here. I still have a 3/8 as well, and then a 1/4-inch, or maybe I need a magnetic 1/4-inch or 5/16. I can now slide that around and use it like this. That to me makes this Impact 11-in-1 the most versatile 11-in-1 that's ever been out. And again, you can make it kind of whatever you want to. I could even, again, take out this Malco if I want. Any 1/4-inch thing that I want to stick in here. Right angle adapter, if I've got some kind of screw that isn't going to take a lot of torque, I can use it for that. I can still use this handle, again, for anything else. Like I've been mentioning before, conduit reamer, whatever you want to use it for, you can make it with this handle. That's why to me this one's way more versatile than maybe your standard 11-in-1s. So that's why the Impact 11-in-1 is my #1 Klein tool screwdriver. So yeah, guys, those are my top 5, I guess top 6 Klein tool screwdrivers. And again, these two right here, that 12-in-1 adjustable stubby, the Impact 11-in-1, these have been really great screwdrivers that I've added in the last several years. And again, not that their other screwdrivers aren't good. And again, I know there's probably going to be some ratcheting screwdriver people out there that are going to say, oh, that 13-in-1 ratcheting that takes the, impact bits, I've got it laying around here somewhere, probably going to be hard for me to find. I really like the handle size on this. It's nice that you can get those impact bits and things in there. It's just, I'm not a ratcheting screwdriver person, and that's probably the only reason why it doesn't make it into my list, even though you can use it as a non-ratcheting screwdriver. But these two right here reign supreme in my opinion. But let me know in the comments below what you think about my list. Also, what would be your top 5, or just what would be your top 1 Klein tool screwdriver? Drop that in the comments below as well. But I hope this video was interesting. I hope you get something out of it. As always, stay safe. Have a blessed day. See you on the next video.